Good afternoon and welcome to our fourth annual Commonwealth Sustainability Week and today's webinar, Climate Strategies at Work, Happenings Around the State. I'm Matt Reese, GreenGov Deputy Director. Today's webinar is co-hosted and supported through our partnership with Penn State Sustainability, which is responsible for developing strategic programming and partnerships such as this one with the GreenGov Council that help leverage their resources to promote sustainability throughout our Commonwealth. The GreenGov Council was established as the Commonwealth Agency's Lead by Example program, promoting energy conservation and sustainable governance. Our charter sets forth performance goals for the Commonwealth, ultimately steering the reduction of greenhouse gas emissions within our portfolio. Now I'd like to introduce our first speaker today, Catherine Simmons, PhD, Science Director of the Nurture Nature Center. Kate is the Science Director of the Nurture Nature Center and helps lead the center's science education, climate action, community resiliency projects, and is involved in numerous social science projects as well. She holds a PhD in Environmental and Earth Sciences from Lehigh University, a master's degree from the University of Delaware, and a Bachelor of Science in Environmental Studies from Ursinus College. Take it away, Kate.
Great, thank you so much for having me. If you can go to my next slide. So the Nurture Nature Center is located in Easton, Pennsylvania, and we got started in response to flooding that happened in Easton in 2004, 5, and 6. And so we first started out doing outreach and education around flooding, but have expanded what we've done, and we have a facility downtown Easton. We've also really grown our partnership with the City of Easton, in particular around climate action. As we all know, climate change affects flooding and many other natural hazards. So our partnership with the City of Easton was to support their climate action plan development and implementation. And we actually participated in the state's LCAP program, the Local Climate Action Program, which was wonderful and really supportive. And we were able to get the climate action plan completed as part of that. Earlier this year, we were able to work with the city to revise their emissions target, and it is now a net zero target by 2050. And we also added a new adaptation plan as an appendix to the climate action plan earlier this year. We report to the CDP for the city, and we are hopeful that we will get an improved score this year as a result of these improvements. The other thing we wanted to point out was that especially with climate action, doing a lot of outreach and education is necessary to get the community on board. And we've focused a lot on this, and we've had some grants that have helped with that. One in particular is called Create Connections, and we have a newsletter we put out to all of our partners. We have a podcast. We have interns that are working with us on doing outreach and education. We partner with the local libraries and other community-based organizations to really make climate action be a whole community issue that's addressed by everyone and not just the local municipal leaders. We also do a lot of integration of art and science and community, which helps connect more residents. And if you go to the next slide, one of our really key features is a youth climate summit. And we've been doing this for 5 years now, and it's really a fun time, wonderful. We had over 120 students participate this past April. We had a climate fair. We focused on climate superpowers. It was just really a great experience, and we'll continue to do this on an annual basis. We also worked with the City of Easton on their tree planting as part of this, and we had youth come out and help with planting trees for their Arbor Day. And then we also had some bike rides in partnership with Community Bike Works that's in Allentown and Easton. And then you can see there on the left, we've put together some climate action spotlights, which really focus on different audiences and what they can do to help with this issue. So we're really trying to do a whole community approach, help the city reach various audiences and use different methods for doing that, everything from art to science and community.
Yeah, well, thank you so much. And next up, we have Dr. Mick Ixrick of Junior Superintendent, Stilton High Spire School District. Mick has been in education for 23 years and with the Stilton High Spire School District for the past 11, 4 of which as a superintendent. His motto is what's best for kids, a mindset that's the backbone for every decision he and his team make. Mick considers his district a green energy and sustainability steward as they continue to look for ways to reduce carbon footprint, ultimately leading to reduced expenditures, allowing more dollars to support their students. Take it away, Mick.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I apologize because my camera is acting up today, but thanks for allowing me to be a part of such a great week and a presentation here. Just to give you some background on our school district, Steelton Heights by our school district is located in Steelton, Pennsylvania, and we're home to America's first steel company and the birthplace of steel manufacturing that has relied traditionally on burning fossil fuels. We have two schools that make up approximately 1,400 students. We serve 95% of our students are economically disadvantaged. We are working with a deficit of $11.7 million per year. So we're traditionally underfunded, and we've worked in a deficit for the last 15 consecutive years as well. So we're always looking for creative solutions. So three things I'd love to highlight that we're doing right now. The first one, they're just three separate things. We work with Harrisburg University. We do controlled environmental agriculture. So right now we have roughly a 3,000 square foot greenhouse that produces about 30,000 acres of produce a year. So we have year-round and local food production that provides increased access to nutritious foods to our community, and our community is considered a food desert. We also look for enhanced sustainability via resource efficiency, meaning through this process, it's 90% less water, and it recirculates that water for those nutrients, pushing through, utilizing fish waste as the primary nutrient. We also, through this process, we created a skilled workforce and experiential learning with college and high school. So we have a dual enrollment program that our students take part in. We also partner with local industry partners, and we look at ways to give back to the community. So we work with homeless shelters and local fruit stands and those types of things to give some of the produce, the excess produce, to our community, as well as the students that participate in the programs. We're looking for other funding avenues to help support because we want to expand this process. We're looking at expanding a learning center and also an additional greenhouse. So we're looking at grants, private investments, partnerships, and EITC to fulfill those expansions. Back in 2021, our solar array went online. We have a 1.7 megawatt solar array that is supported with a PPA through the McClure Company. In doing so, we utilized this as a serious cost savings measure. We are the only school district in Pennsylvania that can say that we're powered 100% by the sun. So 100% of our electricity usage is through the solar project. And we also combine that with an ESCO project that we were able to retrofit all of our light fixtures and bulbs to LED throughout the entire district. Basically, over the next 2 decades, it's going to provide over $2 million in savings for our district. We went live, like I said, in 2021. For the first 13 years, we're saving about $15,000 per year, and we're going to be saving $200,000 per year for the remaining 7 years of the 20-year PPA. We are one of the schools that were featured for House Bill 1032 because of our efforts. The Solar for Schools bill was actually passed and moving forward. So we're able to provide some tours and work with people that are looking to do that type of effort. Our last thing that we're super proud of is we have 6 electric school buses. We partnered with First Student, who is our transportation provider. We applied for the EPA's Clean School Bus Program, and we were awarded in round 1 6 electric school buses. Now we're a super small district, so 6 school buses is our entire bus fleet, which is now 100% electric. So in Pennsylvania, we're the school that's 100% powered by solar and 100% electric bus fleet, which is a pretty awesome feat. we are awarded $2.37 million for the EPA's school bus program, which provided those and also provided the flex charge infrastructure. We came out of pocket roughly for some other cost of about $90,000. But when we look at that, the savings that we'll have over time, roughly switching to electric school buses saves us about $20,000 per year in diesel fuel costs, let alone all the environmental impact, the positive environmental impact that we've had since getting them on the road. One of the things we're also doing, and we just, well, we're kind of getting hit with the bus driver shortage right now, but once we get fully staffed, we are going to start back up with our air quality testing. So in the spring of last year, when we had diesel buses on the road, we partnered with Penn State Health, and they had researchers riding the bus with sensors, and we had sensors throughout the district in our lobbies and outside areas where the buses were idling, measuring the air quality within that. And then now that we have the electric buses on the road, we're going to do the same once we're fully staffed. So we're really trying to make a sustainable, positive environment, but also a positive learning experience for our students. Within all three of these entities, you know, it comes down to great partnerships. So we have great partnerships with Harrisburg University, McClure Company, and First Student. We're looking towards the future. We're looking to partner these three entities together to try to combine some efforts so that kids can learn firsthand technology and very forward thinking approaches for their daily lives. But those are the types of things that we do here. We look at small wins that grow, you know, grow into big possibilities, and every little dollar saved is money put right back into the kids. So although $20,000 in diesel fuel savings seems like it might be a little small, minute piece, it's large for us because you do that over 5 years. Now you have the addition potentially of a salary and benefits for a new teacher. So those are the types of things when you have an underfunded school district, $11.7 million, we try to do little wins that pay off big results. So hopefully you like what you hear from us. Please reach out if you want to tour, you want to do different things, you just want to hear some more. You know, we're open to anything, and we love having people stop by. Thank you.
Thanks, Mick. We certainly appreciate all the efforts, and I'm sure the kids do too. It's got to be pretty cool to ride on one of those electric buses, no doubt about it. And moving right along, and next up we have Melanie Putapis, and she is the Climate Action Manager at Swarthmore College. Melanie is a Climate Action Manager in the Office of Sustainability at Swarthmore. Melanie supports the implementation of the college's energy plan, 20 by 35, which charts their path to eliminate Scope 1 and 2 emissions, keys to their carbon neutrality commitment. Additionally, Melanie manages the Carbon Charge Program, leading projects to increase renewable energy and decrease carbon emissions associated with the college, as well as the oversight of outreach and engagement efforts within the campus community. Take it away, Melanie.
Thank you. So our Swarthmore's Energy Plan 20 by 35 was approved in 2019 and outlines a transformative path to efficient combustion-free energy on campus. We will be achieving this goal by transitioning our campus to a geo-exchange system powered by renewable energy. And the geo-exchange system is replacing Swarthmore's outdated steam system, which is over 100 years old and relies on natural gas combustion. So the geo-exchange will provide efficient, renewable powered heating and cooling to our campus buildings. The geo-exchange plant, which is the hub of the system, is located in the basement of our new dining and community commons. And buildings across campus will be connected to the plant in phases, with all connections to be completed by 2035. The plant is connected to a geo-exchange well field in the center of our campus. In the first, about 350 wells, which is about half of our eventual full geo-exchange capacity, were completed last year, drilled last year. And so the first phase of the plant, the well fields, the distribution piping, and building upgrades have been completed, phase 1. And later this month, the geo-exchange plant will become operational and begin heating and cooling 7 of our campus buildings. So the wells store heat extracted from buildings during summer cooling and then reused for heating during the winter. And the distribution piping connects buildings with hot and chilled water lines from the geoexchange plant from that center hub. And this aids in heating and cooling buildings and also returns the excess heat either to be used by other buildings or back to the geoexchange well for future use. And so as we're transitioning to GeoExchange, the college is also making very significant energy efficiency investments to buildings across campus to reduce the load on the GeoExchange system. And these upgrades, are already taking place, including retrofitting windows to improve energy efficiency, upgrading to LED lighting, retrofitting older HVAC systems, and making sure everything is compatible with the new low temperature hot water distribution through GeoExchange. And so once GeoExchange is fully operational, our energy demand will go up, but that will be met with renewable energy sources, including offsite solar generation. Swarthmore is working with 8 other colleges and universities and a renewable energy developer to develop offsite solar generation facility that will put new renewable electricity onto the grid that is going to be equivalent to our electrical demand. And so investing in offsite solar is an important step towards decarbonizing our campus energy systems. So 20 by 35 also impacts, not only impacts our campus, but also our community in multiple ways. By eliminating fossil fuel combustion, 20 by 35 will improve air quality and increase our capacity to provide air conditioning in our campus buildings, which is a pressing concern as we experience higher temperatures. And campus resilience is also being improved through the installation of backup generation capacity that will be able to carry our entire campus load, positioning the college as a critical community resource in the event of extreme weather. 20 by 35 also provides an opportunity for our community to witness decarbonization in real time. Our office supports education about the GeoExchange system through educational signage across campus, regular communication to our campus community on the goals and status of implementation of construction that's related to 20 by 35, and also provide tours of the GeoExchange plant to campus community, alumni, and donors. So GeoExchange and related sustainable infrastructure will become an integral part of the college's carbon-free future and will have tremendous impact of our greenhouse gas emissions by eliminating over 90% of our scope 1 and scope 2 emissions, setting us on the path to achieve carbon neutrality by 2035. Thank you.
Yeah, that's fantastic. It's great to see the commitments being made, especially that geothermal. Okay, next up we have Sarah Gibson, manager at Camp Hill Borough. Sarah Gibson is the manager of the borough in Cumberland County and has more than 20 years experience in local government leadership and consulting. Sarah earned her undergraduate degree from Dickinson College and holds a master's degree in public administration from the University of Pennsylvania. Thanks so much for joining us today, Sarah. Go ahead. Sarah, you're on mute, unfortunately.
Thanks for inviting me to speak today. In 2023, the Borough of Camp Hill was proud to adopt a climate action plan and establish a sustainability committee. One objective of our plan is to provide public education so that we can meet our sustainability goals through the help of our public. Hold on just a second. Okay. We sometimes find that even the most attentive listeners zone out a little bit when they hear about climate action, sustainability, energy goals, vehicle conversions, water quality, environmental protection, adaptability, and so many other critically important subjects. We believe that we must find new ways to energize the public so that they understand the goals of our plan and how they can help to meet them. Since I am neither an educator nor a sustainability expert, I bring a uniquely unqualified perspective to public sustainability education. But even local government leaders like me, with knowledge in some areas, but not all, can engage the public and encourage them to explore topics that resonate with them. The first objective of our education program is obvious, making sure that the information we share is accurate. Information provided by local governments must be reliable. To achieve that goal, we verify and simplify our public education materials and social media outreach to make sure we get all the details right. Our next step is to consider how we can truly engage our audience to make them stop scrolling and read more, or even more exciting, encourage them to come to a special event or visit our website or to take a deeper dive. We look for information that is relevant to our local audience. We do try to stretch our public to consider ideas they might not have thought about as being relevant to their lives. And so one thing we do to catch residents' attention is to start with everyone's favorite topic, which is money. In order to make the information we're sharing memorable, we might ask residents, are you interested in saving energy and money at your home or business? And have you tried changing to LED light fixtures? And then we can encourage them to consider more ambitious objectives, like have you done a home energy audit, or would a heat pump work at your home? When the information is accurate and relevant to our audience, but they forget what they learned moments later, we have not achieved our public education goals. So we like to share the information on multiple social media outlets, including our printed newsletter, and we add new pictures and links each time, even though it's the same information. Finally, we love finding ways to make sustainability education fun. Some listeners will consider new behaviors simply through reading accurate, relevant, and memorable articles and posts. But others are more likely to consider new ideas if they are tempted by food, fun, and fabulous prizes. The only thing more exciting than money saving is free. So whenever we can get donations or we can spend small amounts on refreshments, treats, or games, we like to host in-person events and draw residents to attend by adding some pizzazz. So next slide, please. So with all of these goals and strategies in mind for engaging the public in our sustainability efforts, how do we really make a difference? One of my favorite things about sustainability education in Camp Hill is the pride of our staff when they understand and can share information with residents. For example, our recreation director includes a week of nature education in her day camp program. Our administrative staff incorporates recycling and stormwater education into everyday conversations with residents. Our public works crew have become advocates for native plants and riparian buffers. Our staff has the confidence to join in our sustainability efforts because they have training and opportunities to learn more themselves. For example, yesterday we hosted a grand opening event to celebrate a new stream bank restoration and trail project at our park. We closed the office so that the entire staff could join in the fun and have the chance to walk the trail and learn about the stormwater best management practices installed there. When the staff is energized, it is easier to recruit volunteers to participate in committees and events. And our most important volunteers are our elected officials, and they are always ready to contribute their time and enthusiasm. They can then become ambassadors to other residents. We try to give volunteers jobs that suit their skill set so that it's important to make their experience relevant, meaningful, and fun too. We also incorporate creativity into our sustainability education. For example, after we enjoyed our staff eclipse party, we did not want to throw away our eclipse glasses. So our office manager found a program for eclipse glasses recycling, and we allowed residents to bring their glasses here. Our sustainability committee is hosting a speaker series. We came up with the title of Reduce, Recycle, and Re-Energize, and our communications director created a fun logo to tie all the sessions together. An example of how Camp Hill Borough puts our unique spin on environmental education is our summer event called Stormfest. In 3 years, it has drawn hundreds of residents who come for the food trucks, free gifts, and kids' activities and raffle baskets, and then inadvertently stumble into lessons about watershed protection, riparian buffers, and energy efficiency. Our staff adds creativity to the event with a rubber ducky treasure hunt and a selfie photo station to help make the event memorable. This event includes displays and presentations by experts who share accurate information that is relevant to those who stop to talk to them. Visitors take home crafts, prizes, plants, flyers, and barbecue stains on their shirts to help them remember the lessons they learned at the Borough of Camp Hill's one-of-a-kind Stormfest event. I encourage all of you to follow along with your local government and their sustainability education. We all have so much information to share, and we love knowing that people are paying attention and making environmentally friendly choices that will help us all to meet our climate goals. Thank you.
Thanks, Sarah. And I certainly dig that logo. It's really, really cool. And you have a lot of action going on. Next up, we have Kirk Stoner, AICP, Director of Planning, Cumberland County. Kirk is the Director of Planning for Cumberland County, where he manages land use, transportation, and environmental planning initiatives in cooperation with the county's 33 municipal governments. Kirk, Kirk holds several planning memberships, including the American Institute of Certified Planners, the Pennsylvania State Planning Board, is a past president of the Planning Directors Association of Pennsylvania. Kirk received both a BS and MS from Shippensburg University. Take it away, Kirk.
All right. Thank you, Matt. Cumberland County updated its climate action plan in January. Adopted it in January of 2022. So immediately following on the heels of that adoption, we began our implementation activities that were recommended as part of the plan. So like others that were part of the program today, we went through DEP's LCAP program, and we worked with Shippensburg University and Dickinson College to help develop our plan. And then we had accesses to the shared energy management services with Wilson Engineering after the plan was completed to help with our implementation activities. So our first project was electric vehicles. So like a lot of other local governments, Cumberland County invested in 8 electric vehicles and the associated charging infrastructure. We didn't use any county general funds for the project. We used DEP's Alternative Fuels Incentive Grant Program, as well as our Energy Efficiency Conservation Block Grant Program funds from the feds to fully finance the program. We're expecting about $10,000 in annual savings, as we're paying about $2.10 per 100 miles versus $15.50 for that same 100 miles using gas vehicles. And we're also expecting about 50% savings on maintenance of the electric vehicles, given the fewer moving parts that you have with a combustion engine. The second project, which is currently in process, and one that I'm really excited about. This is one that I've been thinking about for a while. We have a great team here that's looking into it. We're looking at a solar array on county property. So Cumberland County is fortunate to own 4 parcels of land between 15 to 80 acres, conveniently located about 2 miles from the downtown Carlisle, where most of our county facilities are located. That 2-mile radius actually enables us to do net metering for nearly all of our county properties. So about 19 facilities that are within that 2-mile radius. We're looking at a 3 to 6 megawatt system that could provide 50% to 100% of the energy demands of those 19 facilities. So looking at our county budget, our county budget is having some problems. Being able to have a predictable source of energy over a very long term to provide either 50% or 100% of the energy needs of our county facilities is a very attractive proposal. So we have an RFP right now that is out. We put it on PennBid. Right now we have 58 plan holders that have downloaded the RFP. We have 7 firms that are actually preparing the RFP and be submitting to us. And I know there's 1 or 2 others that we're likely to get. We had a field view last week that was showing the properties to 6 different firms. So we're really excited about this project. I think it's something that has the opportunities to put us in that leadership position again of leading by example and showing what's potential with solar for our county facilities. And even looking at next year, I think we've all heard about the projected rate hikes for electric next year. So we're really hitting this at a good time. And we're open to practically any idea that our respondents may have, whether it be power purchase or power service agreements, buy, lease, whatever it may be. So we've left the RFP very flexible, and we want to see some of the innovation in the private sector. meet our project goals, save the county money, and provide us predictable energy for the future. The final implementation project that really we've completed is we've enrolled in the the Commercial Property Assessed Clean Energy Program, or CPACE. So if I had one recommendation for CPACE was maybe a new acronym. We've gone through this. No one really knows what that means, and even I have to have it written here so I remember what it is. But in short, it's an investment option for commercial projects that are looking to invest in clean energy. So we have several projects in the county, valued about $80 million, that have talked about interest in clean energy projects. CPACE provides them an alternative financing mechanism for that. The county's role in it then is really to invoice for the loans through our tax assessment system, collect the loan payments, and then forward them to the financing authority for the project. So our burden is very low. Our opportunity for impact and benefit from Cumberland County is really high. As I mentioned, we have 3 to 4 projects that our program manager, the Sustainable Energy Fund, has told us that are in the queue that may be applying to be covered under CPACE. $80 million worth of projects. You can look at what that means for our real estate tax revenue and also our municipalities where those projects be located. It's substantial. And you pair that then with the greenhouse gas emission reductions and all the environmental benefits of those projects. You really have projects that serve a dual purpose and have dual functions and benefits for the county. So in closing, I think that there are 3 major projects that we have going on right now. Not to say that's all that's going on. We have a whole host of other environmental initiatives that we're doing through the planning office. But I think these 3 in particular really bring home the point of how to get these things done. As we went through our planning process, there's always a lot of debate. Is climate change happening? Is it real? Is it hoax? We didn't get into that. We get into it and look to see what can Cumberland County practically do to address some of the environmental concerns that are facing our county. And we found these projects that not only improve our environment, but they also improve our bottom line. And we believe improving that bottom line, showing the energy efficiency, showing the savings that we get from them, is a very, very powerful argument for us to do this. And one that, regardless of their political affiliations or views on the subject, we believe that our residents will look at and say Cumberland County is saving money, they're saving energy, and they're providing more efficient services to our residents.
Well, fantastic. And thanks, Kirk. And I am a resident of Cumberland County myself. And moving on, next up we have Bethany Ayers Fisher, City of Reading. Bethany is the sustainability manager for the City of Reading, where she develops and implements strategic plans and projects to help the city meet their Reading for 100 resolution goal, which is 100% clean, renewable energy for all sectors by 2050 to adapt to our changing climate. Thanks for joining us today, Bethany. Take it away.
Hi, thank you for inviting me. Hi, everyone. I'm Bethany Ayers Fisher, Sustainability Manager for the City of Reading. We're the 4th largest city in Pennsylvania. Back in 2019, Reading City Council unanimously passed the Reading for 100 resolution, setting the goals to power Reading with 100% clean renewable energy by 2050. And we also joined DEP's LCAP program that year. And then under Mayor Eddie Moran's leadership, the sustainability manager position was created in 2021 with the task to meet those goals and improve our climate resiliency. I sit in the Public Works Department, and we are the stewards of our public, natural, and built infrastructure. Earlier this month, City Council approved our first GESA, or Guaranteed Energy Savings Act project with ESCO Schneider Electric. This is a $17.9 million investment that will result in an annual savings of $331,000, provide yearly pollution reduction benefits equivalent to removing 454 vehicles from the road, but we won't gain those parking spaces, planting 84,000 trees, and we'll be producing our own electricity to power City Hall and the Public Works Administration campus, which is the equivalent of powering 273 homes. The return on investment for this project is estimated to be $13.4 million over 20 years. This project includes 3,000 LED light fixture conversions, which is the interior lighting in 9 buildings, field lights at 7 parks, improved park and public space lighting, which will also add, and then also 5 new heat pump installations at our park field houses, which will also add air conditioning to these these historic buildings, improved weatherization at 9 buildings, and 2 solar installations for a total of 1.8 megawatts of electricity production. Our solar installations at Public Works and City Hall are a combination of rooftop and parking area canopies. These canopies will also protect vehicles and our staff during the high heat summer months and reduce the need to shovel out our vehicles while we are managing snow events. Project funding is a combination of bulk savings by bundling similar projects together, Department of Energy, Energy Efficiency Block Grant allocated funds, ARPA, direct pay solar tax credit reimbursements, utility rebates, and guaranteed energy savings. This is a huge investment in Reading and will significantly reduce our operational and maintenance costs. And this was just a pipe dream way back in 2019. We've also partnered with the Delaware River Climate Corps and Student Conservation Association to support the Reading Climate Corps, which is now in its 3rd season. Our Climate Corps offers young adults from Reading an opportunity to engage with the AmeriCorps program and develop the skills and ethics needed to become stewardship leaders in our community. They assist with forestry management projects, recreational trail maintenance, and park maintenance projects with the Reading Public Works Department, Berks Nature, and the Reading Area Water Authority. The Reading Climate Corps and students from Alberta University and Penn State Berks are also assisting with an ongoing project to convert our park's steep slope areas to native tree and shrub riparian areas to reduce mowing, increase our tree canopy, reduce erosion, and reduce climate and other air pollutants, as well as increasing habitat and biodiversity. We're also partnering with the Green Building Alliance to provide technical support to our community partners and private sector building operators in their journey to transition off of fossil fuels. The First Energy Foundation has generously provided funding for the Green Building Alliance to have boots on the ground in Reading, and we are looking forward to launching this effort in early 2025. And we'd like to thank Penn State Sustainability, the DEP, especially the Energy Office, for all of their technical support. We're also working with PEMA and FEMA, Department of Energy, Department of Transportation, and EPA to develop and implement climate smart projects.
Thanks so much. Looks like some really terrific actions happening there. And I'm going to invite people to, as you have questions, please put them, you can put them in the chat and we can work to address them afterwards, after the presenters. And next up, we have Megan Hoskins, PhD, Penn State Sustainability. Megan is the Director of Sustainability Operations at Penn State, where she works with partners inside and outside the university to increase the sustainability of Penn State's own operations. This includes working to reduce the university's greenhouse gas emissions and waste to landfill while engaging and involving students, faculty, and staff. Take it away, Megan.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me today. I'm happy to be here talking about some of our climate initiatives at Penn State. As the chart at the top of the right here shows, we started tracking our greenhouse gas inventory in the late 1990s, and we set a number of goals for reductions. Recently, we've reached a 50% reduction from our 2005 levels on the inventory that we do count. Today, I'm going to highlight our work on reducing emissions from our campus-owned vehicles. Our Penn State-owned fleet emissions are only about 2% of our overall inventory, but are still a really important and visible emission sector that we could reduce by 100% by transitioning to newer vehicle technologies and renewable energy. And there's also the associated benefits, health benefits, as was sort of mentioned earlier. We have a large, diverse fleet of over 3,000 vehicles, which we've been studying by first, we did a right sizing and right typing study to identify opportunities for reducing the overall number of vehicles we own and also the sizes of the vehicles we own. We've also been looking into vehicle sharing opportunities. The next step is to plan a transition away from traditional vehicles and work on building momentum in this direction. Our first step in this process was funded by student fees at the University Park campus to focus on the 1,500 or so light-duty vehicles we have at University Park and create a transition plan for a zero-emissions light-duty fleet. As part of the process, we'll also be creating an outreach and communications plan so that we can engage Penn State students, faculty, and staff in these efforts. We hope to collect stories from our early adopters and also our champions, and then share those broadly with the Penn State community. The current efforts are focused on electrification. We have use cases on campus where electric vehicles are on the market now that fit our needs that we have on campus. And we have some people championing that transition as well. So for example, the vehicles shown here are a subset of our full fleet. These are vehicles used by our Office of Physical Plant for their work on campus. And of the vehicles shown, about 85 to 90% of those have short drive cycles. So could be switched to electric models that have a low battery range of only 50 miles or so. And that would be 400 vehicles right there. Once we're able to install sufficient charging infrastructure and find vehicles that fit our needs, this could be a significant shift in the fleet. One switch that's already happening is in our housing and foods, warehouse, and bakery, who are really championing electrification. They've set their own internal goal of fully electrifying their University Park delivery fleet. And once they're able to transition to a new delivery van and complete the projects they're working on now, they will have already succeeded in that goal. To fund our electrification efforts, it's been wonderful to have access to a few Pennsylvania funding resources, such as the Driving PA Forward and the Alternative Fuels Incentive Grant. Both are helping us fund vehicle purchases and adding infrastructure. The Driving PA Forward opportunity was from the Volkswagen settlement, and I believe that's now been expended. We were fortunate to win one of the final Driving PA Forward awards, which is going to enable us to electrify 5 medium-duty trucks, and importantly, add the infrastructure needed to charge the larger vehicles. 3 of the vehicles and chargers will go to our housing and foods, bakery, and warehouse. 1 will go to the Office of Physical Plant, and 1 to our surplus operation. The bakery vehicles will also have electric refrigeration, and to our knowledge, that will be the first of that technology deployed on the East Coast. The AFIG awards are annual awards that offer incentives to purchase electric vehicles and add fleet charging infrastructure. We've just started recently proposing projects for this source and have successfully received awards for purchasing new electric passenger vehicles for the rental fleet and also installing charging stations for those vehicles. Those AFIG awards are for incremental costs for vehicles and then 50% cost share on the infrastructure. Some additional opportunities we're considering are from the recent federal legislations. The Inflation Reduction Act, IRA, made tax incentives for electric vehicle purchases and renewable energy generation available to nonprofits, such as Penn State, which we were not eligible for in the past. So this opens up a new opportunity for us, which we're just starting to work on taking advantage of. The Bipartisan Infrastructure Law, or bill, created federal grant programs for charging infrastructure under the National Electric Vehicle Infrastructure Formula Program, or NEVI, and the related Charging and Fueling Infrastructure Discretionary Program, or CFI. We did submit a CFI proposal for the first round for charging stations at our Commonwealth-wide campus system. However, we were unsuccessful in that one. These are focused more on public charging than fleet charging, so we've sort of shifted away from looking at those opportunities, the federal ones, and are more focused on fleet charging opportunities that we can find. Between our planning efforts, our communications efforts, and our funding successes thus far, we're hopeful that we can continue to make progress in decarbonizing the fleet. Thanks so much for your time. I'm happy to answer questions.
Yeah, and we'll get into the question and answer session after all the presenters have gone. And thanks, Megan, for all the efforts. It's great to see the, the actions that Penn State is doing internally, and along with this partnership with the Green Gov Council. So next up, we have Hugh Johnson, Senior Director for Research and Development and Environmental Collaboratory at Drexel University. Hugh has consulted on renewable energy, energy efficiency and measurement and verification, as well as green building projects for private, municipal, and federal clients. Hugh is the co-chair of the School District of Philadelphia's Green Futures Energy and Efficiency Subcommittee. Thanks for your participation. Take it away, Hugh.
Thanks, Matt, and thanks for having me this afternoon. Just briefly to describe the Environmental Collaboratory at Drexel, we're a little over 2 years old, and the mission and vision of the collaboratory is to really co-fund, co-design, and co-implement climate justice solutions with our community partners. with a real focus on addressing not only environmental but also systemic and socioeconomic issues that underpin a lot of climate justice issues that our communities face. And so I just wanted to highlight a couple of activities that we're working on right now. And I will post a link to our website that has more information on these and other things in the chat. But one of the, we're really thinking a lot about climate emergency preparedness and resilient recovery, particularly as the news this week highlights the increased frequency and severity of these storms. And so initially we're working with the community of Eastwick in Southwest Philadelphia, which is the lowest lying, most flood prone community in Philadelphia, but also has a long history of discriminatory land use policies and other cumulative burdens. And so we're working with both the Philadelphia Office of Emergency Management, the Philadelphia Office of Sustainability, which have been amazing partners, really in the role of an independent collaborator, a bridge between the community and those offices to think about where can we as a university with either expertise or resources fill gaps, whether it's about early alert warning systems, which OEM is developing, really considering about community concerns or considerations when it comes to evacuation plans, and really helping translate some of the needs that the community is asking for in ways that is effective for all the different agencies that coordinate both before and after these climate emergencies. And as you can see as statistics on the right from this particular community, and these were based on both multiple surveys and forms of input from the community themselves about the level of impact that this community has faced, both not only in physical damage, but also just with historical trauma and what comes every time you see a weather forecast with rain coming to this community. So we also, as the collaboratory, one thing we think we can do is in the new year, we are planning on trying to host, and we're working on that now, a regional climate convening with relevant stakeholders to think about not only agents, respective agencies, but also the other providers, nonprofits, faith organizations, and others about how we can be better prepared both pre and post for climate emergency disasters. And we're also pursuing some funding to look at this at a multi-state regional level throughout the entire Lehigh Valley. And then if you can go to the next slide, Matt, we're doing something we are calling the Pennsylvania Climate Initiative. This is an extent, we see this as kind of supplementary to the LCAP program, which has been mentioned previously by a couple speakers. Drexel participated in that. We had students that helped develop those local climate action plans for a number of communities. And so what this is meant to do, and we're actually working with both Sarah Gibson from Camp Hill and Bethany from Reading, who were previous speakers. And our initial cohort of municipalities that we're working with are a really diverse group, both geographically, size-wise, socioeconomically. And we wanted to think about what are technical assistance climate implementation strategies that we as a university can help implement. And so we've done that in a couple ways. We've hosted webinars and other things to connect our group of municipalities that we're working with to both what we're calling resource partners, such as like Rocky Mountain Institute, World Resources Institute, that do a lot of these DOE or EPA funded technical assistance programs, such as SoulSmart. So we've tried to do some of that connection making. And then one universal need that we heard from this initial cohort of municipalities is helping to educate and help residents understand what resources they can access for things like weatherization, whole home electrification, EV purchasing. So we created a series of educational materials. We adopted those to, if there were local municipal, compliance codes or whatnot that were applicable in terms of solar and things like that, we did that. And so we've provided these materials in a number of ways, both digital brochures that can be shared on websites, website-specific content. We did both some live presentations at community events, as well as some Zoom webinars and that sort of thing to really get the word out, to really understand while, we still don't know exactly how these funds are going to be distributed to residents, but starting to get the word out early to residents to let them know that while traditionally a lot of this has come in the form of tax credits, which is not accessible to lower and middle income families. As the IRA money starts to flow down and comes in the form of rebates, what do those rebates mean? What are they applicable to? What are the criterion in which you have to meet to get those rebates? So it's been really well received to just try to get early information out about some of these residential programs. So, and as I said, I'll put our website in the chat so people can learn more about both of these initiatives and other things that the collaboratory is doing.
Fantastic. And thanks so much. We certainly appreciate having you here today, Hugh, and all the actions of Drexel University. Very impressive. Okay, and next up we have Lori Geich, who's the Recreation and Conservation Manager, Bureau of Recreation and Conservation at PA-DCNR. Lori has an MS in Recreation and Parks from Penn State University and a BS in Biology from Juniata College, and has been with the PA Department of Conservation and Natural Resources since 1999. Lori manages the Central Region offices of DCNR's Bureau of Recreation and Conservation and works to preserve and enhance public recreation amenities in Pennsylvania communities. Lori partners with local, state, and federal agencies to assist in mitigation and impacts of climate change. Thanks for joining us, Lori. Take it away.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Matt and Mark, for including me in this informational webinar. The next slides, I'm going to highlight projects and resources that DCNR utilizes through its grants, funding, and technical assistance outreach program to assist communities in addressing the impacts of climate change by supporting green infrastructure-based projects in their public parks, trails, and waterways. This slide showcases our tree planting and lawn to habitat conversion projects. It's a proven fact, we all know, that planting trees and converting lawn to meadows and forests has numerous benefits, including heat and flood reduction, improving habitat for pollinators and other wildlife, and increasing property values, etc. DCNR's Community Forest and Tree Vitalize grant program provides funding and technical assistance to communities to plant trees in both rural, suburban, and metropolitan areas. On the left, you'll see a community tree planting in the city of Lancaster utilizing our Tree Vitalize grant program. The other two slides depict lawn conversion projects, one converting lawns to meadows and the other tree planting on lawns to establish an upland forest. These projects were funded with our Community Forestry and Watershed Grant Program. Next slide, please. This slide highlights a project in Dover Township, their Eagle View Park, and it demonstrates a need to address habitual flooding in Dover Township's Eagle View Park. As you can see from the picture and the image in the middle, I received a phone call from the recreation director in Dover Township that said their playground was just being flooded and flooded, rain event after rain event. So we pulled together a statewide partner forum, including DEP, DCNR, and DCED. And we partnered with them to co-fund a stream restoration and park rehabilitation project, resulting in numerous community benefits. DEP's $1.4 million Growing Greener grant for the floodplain restoration will use to match our DCNR's match requirements for a $250,000 grant to rehab and develop the park, including a walking trail, outdoor classroom, and pavilion. After several storm events in the past couple of years, the park has not been flooded since completion of the project. Next slide. This slide features the Capital Area Greenbelt. The Capital Area Greenbelt is a 20-mile loop trail located around Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. The images on this slide depict a section of the trail. One of the most popular sections is the Paxson Parkway, in which Spring Creek and the Greenbelt Trail intersect. In this section of the trail is a combination of the stream, the trail, and a slice of nature in the urban environment that makes the Paxson Creek Parkway so accessible and and pleasure to visit. In recent years, due to unmanaged stormwater because of increased rain events combined with the expansion of impervious surfaces surrounding the trail, Spring Creek, as you can see in the picture, has eroded and made sections of the trail almost impassable. And as we know, and you can see in this slide, the integrity or degradation of the trail directly correlates with the integrity and degradation of the stream and vice versa. To fix this, Capital Area Greenbelt needed to stabilize and restore the stream bank of Spring Creek to properly manage the stormwater runoff, reduce erosion, and then they could apply to us to rehab the trail, and PennDOT as well. PennDOT awarded $900,000 in transportation alternative funding to rehab the trail, which leverage over nearly $700,000 in DCNR grant funding to stabilize Spring Creek. In summary, DCNR uses its grant funding and technical assistance to assist communities with mitigating the impacts of climate change in park, trails, and waterways by supporting green infrastructure-based projects, including tree planting, floodplain restoration, lawn to meadow projects, etc. If you have further questions about our grant program, please contact me. And note, as my colleague and friend in Camp Hillsborough said, we did use some of our funding to help with her project along Conneaut Creek and Seabird Park. Our grant program in 2025 opens up January 21st and closes on April 2nd. If you're interested in applying, we highly recommend that you participate in our grant webinar scheduled for November 7th. Pre-registration is required by registering at DCNR's website's event calendar, and I'll put those links in the chat soon. Thank you so much again for allowing me to speak today.
Thanks so much, Lori. We certainly appreciate all the actions being performed by DCNR, and thanks for sharing those. And next up and last speaker, but certainly not least, and we have Matt Steinman at Dickinson College Farm. Matt's Director of Energy and Livestock Programs at the Dickinson College Farm in Cumberland County and has a master's degree from Penn State University, specializing in biogas systems. Dickinson's 90-acre working farm grows organic produce and raises grass-fed beef for the college and community. Since 2008, the farm has recycled nearly 4 million pounds of food waste into soil-improving compost and biogas. Matt co-founded the farm in 2007 and has been instrumental in developing sustainable systems for waste management and renewable energy production. Thanks for joining us, Matt. Take it away.
Hi, everybody. I'm here on the farm, so a little noisy. So yeah, thanks so much for having me. It's my pleasure to be here today. We are both a working farm and an educational program. We feed our community. We raise organic produce on about 10 acres, and that's going to Dickinson College, as well as several different outlets in Carlisle, a farmer's market, a food bank, and other farms that we share with. And then we are a compost facility, as Matt mentioned. We've been bringing in food waste from Dickinson for years. And now we've started to bring in food waste from the surrounding community. Several different businesses are partnering with us, and we're looking for more waste. The centerpiece of all that is our waste to energy biodigester. And this was a project actually grew out of my my master's degree program at Penn State. We did a feasibility study in 2018, looking at how we could expand our small scale biodigester here at the farm to be something larger. For those of you that aren't familiar with biodigestion technology, basically we are taking any organic waste, food waste and livestock waste are the most common. We can also use yard waste. Anything that would be going to the landfill can be diverted to a farm for composting or for biodigestion. And so we take these materials, we rot them anaerobically in a controlled environment, and the microbes that are in the cow manure generate methane. Methane, of course, is a pollutant when it's released, but if it's captured, it's a fuel source. So biogas is analogous to natural gas, and it can be used in gas appliances or engines that are tuned to run on biogas. So our smaller projects in the past, we made cooking fuel for the farm, our residences, and our commercial kitchen, and this larger project is designed to do biogas to power for grid-tied electricity. So we started construction in 2023 and have just wrapped up construction. Now we're in the final stages of commissioning. Everything is here and working. We're just fine-tuning our integration with the utility before I can fully say that we're completely online. But we have been generating power from biogas, and everything is really going great. What our system is, we partner with a dairy farm. It's called Triple L Dairy Farm. They rent the land from Dickinson College, so pretty handy. We were able to invest in the infrastructure, and the dairy brings the cows, and we manage their waste. So we have manure from 150 dairy cows. We have food waste from Dickinson College, which generates about 750 to 1,000 pounds per day of food waste. And then we expanded our reach to several local businesses, the food bank, farmers market, commercial bakery, brewery, et cetera. Now we're bringing in at least a ton per day of food waste. We're targeting 2 to 3 tons per day once we're fully up and running. We also partner with some of the local apple orchards and apple processing facilities in the area. So our project is really nifty because it's scaled to the average size Pennsylvania dairy farm. Traditionally, waste-to-energy biodigesters are on much larger dairy farms, like 500 or 1,000 cows. And whereas in Europe, they're doing smaller projects like this. So we're kind of importing this idea from Europe. And there's 5,000 dairy farms here in Pennsylvania, all around this. On average, the farm size is about 85 to 100 cows. So provided our project is successful, 5 years down the road, we think it's a great model for other farms to adopt, because there's really only, less than 2 dozen digesters here in Pennsylvania that are functioning. We are set up to make power. Our combined heat and power engine is a 48 kilowatt engine. That generates about 1,200 kilowatt hours per day, or enough to power about 30 homes. And there's multiple benefits that go with this. Of course, we're diverting the food waste from the landfill, which is reducing greenhouse gas emissions and saving landfill space for hard to recycle trash. We're also reducing the nutrient loss, into the landfill by keeping it on the farm. And then as we generate renewable electricity, we're helping with distributed generation, strengthening the power grid, and doing domestic energy security here. We're generating some revenue for the farm. And we're at the same time doing modern manure management for the farm. So in the past, this dairy farm did have some identified issues with potential leakage of manure to the Yellow Breeches Creek, which is in the Chesapeake Bay watershed. And so we corrected that by installing a modern manure tank and manure management system. So that all the manure is contained. We capture the energy and put it right back in the system for fertilizer for the cows, for the farms. We're also extracting bedding from the manure and giving that back to the dairy farm. And then, providing some job training for our students, as well as a working example of this technology for people from around the state. Our project is public facing. We have field days, tours pretty frequently already, even in the construction phase. We've got a great YouTube channel. It's Dickinson College Farm Biogas. We just hosted the biogas musical for the first public showing here last weekend, which was really fun. We are, the goal here is that if farmers want to see what an anaerobic digester looks like, they want to talk to somebody who understands the science, but also, understands farming and the, trials and tribulations of that. They can come and talk to us here, get an up close and personal look at it, decide if they want to adopt this technology as well. Our project cost about $2.1 million altogether. That includes a new freestall barn for the cattle and all the site development and power, et cetera. We're funded. I wrote 11 grants for this project. We got $1.3 million in grant money from federal, state, and foundation resources, which we're really grateful for. And we are also applying to the Inflation Reduction Act tax credit for biogas system. So we expect to get about $300,000 to $400,000 back on the IRA when it's all said and done. So next slide there, you can see the picture from the sky. The dairy barn is the long structure there. The digester is the smaller black circle on the right. And the larger brown circle is the manure storage tank. After digestion, we store the nutrients there before we land apply either to the dairy farm for their crops, or we're pumping our fraction of it back to the compost piles for our farm. And then the power shed is that small building there with the green roof. That's where we have our 48 kilowatt combined heat and power engine. I'm in there right now hugging the engine. And we have our own power pole where we're pushing 3-phase 480 volt power back to the grid. All right. I'll save the rest of my time for questions at the end, I think. Well, last thing I'll say is do come visit, please, because we do school groups, both homeschoolers as well as, of course, all the public schools, private schools, and Future Farmers of America, 4-H, and then adult groups, both engineers, farmers, et cetera. We'd love to have you.
Thanks, Matt, and certainly I've been to the farm and it's a fantastic experience. And as you said, feel free to join in. And that concludes with all of our speakers for today. And we're going to now stop the recording